Welcome to the American Made and Paid Show, the home of free speech and independent thought.
The big story is freedom of speech is really in trouble. The far left knows that at any time they can call for a sponsor boycott of anyone they despise.
It is right here, right now, where you'll get your weekly dose of unfiltered truth.
It's non-negotiable. Pre-existing conditions will be protected. This president has said this as a candidate.
Insight.
Very few people I know could have handled it. We can never, ever let this happen to another president again.
And information that challenges the American way of life.
Welcome, everybody, to the American Made and Paid Show. Hope you guys are all doing well. This is our last episode, obviously, before the weekend. And this is rather unique because we're actually airing this somewhat around the time that a podcast episode would be dropped. So the moment this is done, I got to put it up. But, yeah, it's been a pretty good week so far. I've been making money, closing deals, and all that kind of stuff. And for all of you who have been continuing to send us emails and everything, just got to say thank you again. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, folks. Tony, you know who you are, who's been sending us some stuff. Really appreciate it. We always read the content. And as the show grows, we're going to have the call-in feature. If you haven't done so already, please share this podcast with 5 of your friends or folks that you think would enjoy it, and leave an iTunes review if you haven't done so already. I'd really appreciate it, guys. It really helps us get ranked. Let's start off and talk a little bit about a trailer that I just watched for a new movie produced by Stephen Curry, right? And we can always dive into Christianity on that. Emanuel, which is about Dylan Roof, which I think everybody pretty much knows, was that white kid that basically, raided a church and murdered 9 black Americans who were praying in the church. And obviously a very horrific hate crime. But let's talk a little bit about this, because this is now a documentary that's about to be released, or was just released, actually. I haven't gone and seen it yet.
You know, actually, it's too late to see it. It only played for 2 days.
Oh, really?
17th, and it played on the 19th, and that was that. That's how it works.
You can't see it later? How come you can't see it? That's not how movies work.
Well, no, you'd be shocked. It's because it's in theory, a Christian movie. Yeah, it's just how it works. You're not going to get wide distribution, so they were able to get it in the movie theaters for 2 nights.
Oh, okay.
It was
kind of like that abortion movie Unplanned, when we talked about that a couple months ago. That one didn't fly for very long, you know.
No, but that's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's if it doesn't get a lot of hype or whatever, it doesn't. And
I saw Obama in the trailer.
Yeah, well, see, but that's the point. Well, and it gets back to what we were talking about for the past couple of days. I brought it up. I said, if it wasn't for my Christian parents, I would have been way, like you would have heard of me, but I'd be in prison somewhere for all of the murders. I would have been on a murder spree if it wasn't for my Christian parents. Oh, I know it. I'm built that way. I'm a violent guy. I know how to fight. I'm super strong. I was real aggressive, blah, 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 blah. But without knowing, my coaches and my coach's lady, like my Christian parents, they put it in my head to hold back. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were like my conscience, subliminal. Like for some reason, like I always knew right from wrong, and those 2 people put it in my head. So, but anyway, and we were talking about that, how like without knowing, my Christian parents actually saved my life. And, and without being that person, like, burn or turn or whatever those hardcore Christians say. But anyway, so, and it goes back to that whole Afro whatever worship and how a lot of people are angry about that. But the thing is, they shouldn't be mad at the athletes or the entertainers who are honestly successful and they're black, and because they're being portrayed with white women or Asian women, or like they shouldn't be angry at those people, because that is the only way they could ever succeed.
Yeah.
And what I've been trying to say is like, look, a lot of these athletes, what the media only focuses on the people who are really bad. Like the dude who was doing the dog fights. I forgot his name, Michael Vick.
Yeah.
You know, he went to prison for fighting dogs or something like that. So anyway, but they focus on like Ray Rice, and they really focus on the violent athletes, the drug addicts, the people who, you know, get away with murder. And but they never focus on guys like Steph Curry. They just don't. And this movie, Emanuel, was literally paid for by him and Viola Davis.
Yeah.
And sadly, they're both really progressive, so they're misguided. And then it goes back to what I was saying too. A lot of Christians are misguided. They just are. And without knowing, you know, anything about this, I've never seen it. I just wanted to show this as an example of what, you know, because black athletes who really make it, it's what they do. Like, for some reason, Christianity is like the center. It's the glue that holds all athletics together. That's why you see them praying in the end zone or doing like what the Warriors do. They have that fellowship. I don't know what you guys call it, but whenever all those Christian dudes get together, and it's just for men, they don't have women. I mean, but it's just how it works. Like,
well, let's focus on that as well, but also a big takeaway from the trailer that I saw. I haven't seen the movie, so if you folks had a chance to see that movie, great. But the big thing here is forgiveness, right? Because how many families would have stood and actually expressed forgiveness, even though they were expressing disdain for the actions, because they lost their loved ones by a white supremacist, yet they expressed forgiveness, which is somewhat counterintuitive, right, to what most people who are in the progressive space would do. You know, it's very, very Christ-like. You know, that's the big aspect, the big theme of Christianity is forgiveness, which is really basically, you know, forgiving, pardoning somebody, even though they don't deserve it or anything like that.
But you got to remember one thing. This was not in the media for that long. It just wasn't. It wasn't a big thing in the media. The what's that? The murders in the Muslim place in Australia. That got a lot of press. And it's still getting press to this day. Oh, you know, and who was that? Tlaib?
Rashida Tlaib?
Yeah, she still talks about it.
Because it was Muslims that were attacked.
Yeah, and Omar still talks about it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But
no, of course. No, when Notre Dame Cathedral, right, was set on fire and they found some other stuff that it could have been someone who was responsible, guess how long we covered that for? A couple weeks.
About a week. Yeah, I was going to say about a week. And
you know,
but that's the point.
Yeah.
All of this was swept. And you know, and when they talk about these mass murders, they never talk about this church. They don't. And there was 9 people killed. And
black people.
Yeah, and it was specifically targeted. It was a specifically targeted race. You know.
Crime.
Yeah, well, forget about the hate crime term, but it was really targeted to start a race riot. But because this dude chose a Christian church,
they didn't get incendiary about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing. I mean, they might have gotten mad, hell, I don't know. But the thing is, they were quick to forgive. And that's the thing about, you know, something that needs to be really recognized. You know, and I hate to say things like this, but it just seems that the men took over. You know what I mean? Like the men took over that situation. And because, you know, the dude is an old school black pastor.
Yeah.
He kind of reminded me of my coach. And he took control of the situation because obviously a lot of women were murdered.
Sure.
And, you know, you hate to say things like this, but it's true. The people who go to church tend to be women. And but
it's a bit of an equal split from my perspective, but I see where you're coming.
In black churches, it's because, you know, black dudes don't go to church. You know what I mean? Like they know of church, but the majority of people who go to these churches, if you ever go, well, I don't know about the South, but in San Francisco, the black churches have nothing. I mean, if you really want to pick up on brides, there's a lot of single women at these black churches, and there'll be like maybe 10 dudes. And like
I can see that. I see where you're talking.
Yeah,
you're talking about demographics, but
for the blacks.
No, but where was Black Lives Matter on these people getting killed? And
No, but that's my point. All of these people for Black Lives, they don't know crap. They really don't. They don't understand.
It's only when a cop kills a black person, I guess, huh?
Well, see, but the thing is, but it goes back to Christianity. See, these people have no understanding what real Christianity looks like.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. And
talking about the people in the church, or are you talking about Black Lives Matter?
No, just people in general.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because like in a whole, see, society, like the same thing that made this person write that article about that was really angry is the same thing why Black Lives Matters just ignores this black church, and they don't say anything. Oh, hey, this is a big race thing and blah 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 blah. Where is all that? You know what I mean? Like everybody just like they forgot about this church because of how quickly they were able to heal themselves. And but I really wanted to point out how a man honest to God took over. You know what I mean? Like the man, he knew his role.
Right.
And as, I don't want to say he was the alpha male, but as this alpha male, he knew his role. And he did it again in a good way, in a way that he was able to even get the president. And at that time it was Obama. I think it was Obama, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so he got the president in check because he didn't allow the president to use this as some kind of
race.
Yeah, but it's the thing, like he stopped it. Well, without watching the thing, but I'm pretty sure, like positive, because trust me, I know Obama wanted to use this.
Yeah, of course.
But they weren't allowed to do it. Because a real alpha male, and I hate to say only Christians are alpha male, but if
I actually want you to finish this because there's another example of this actually. But yeah, with the black, this it's almost like, and he doesn't take a responsibility for it. It's just that's how you act. If you're the strongest of the pack, you protect, and everybody else is an outsider. Anybody's trying to capitalize on that, you tell them to screw right off. It's like, no, this is our business. We handle it ourselves.
Yeah. So
and you know where another instance in which that happened? Remember Sutherland Springs, Texas, with that Stephen Williford guy, the NRA guy.
Yeah.
He like basically chased down the gunman in his truck. He was barefoot. He took his AR-15 with him and a bulletproof vest. Older guy too. Like literally his daughter said something like, there's shootings at the Baptist church, and he jumps in his truck and like chases the guy. Yeah. Like that's an alpha male right there.
Dude, that was badass. No, but it is.
And no, he shot him at like from, I don't know what, it was like 100 meters away.
It was a good like, distance away.
And the guy had Kevlar and was, I don't know exactly, but he was armed, right? He couldn't get to him and actually like shot him in between his armor and got him. Like,
yeah, no, and that's how it's done.
That's and this guy, because when you said something about this pastor just reacting and taking control of the situation, right? This is a threat. It is gun violence in a church. Forget the race thing for a second. This happened at that Baptist church in Sutherland Springs, Texas. Same scenario. It's just a guy like it's a man who's like, I just gotta do this. He doesn't even put his shoes on. He starts running out the door.
Exactly. See, because this really isn't about race. This is about how real Christians react in a society that shuns them, even by fellow Christians.
Okay.
Because Christian people, or like, I don't want to say Chinos, like Christian in name only. That should be a new term.
I like that. Chino. Yeah, we can start saying
Christian
that.
in name only. But it's the truth. All of these Chinos but they would shun that pastor, dude. That's why nobody goes to these churches. These churches are empty and just, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a tangent, so I don't want to go down that tangent. But the point is this. Chinos are the people who say Judeo-Christian values, or they say things like, all these politicians, not like Trump, but like every other politician, that uses God, like, they go to the churches for this and that, and then they invite people like Jesse Jackson,
right,
and or even Jesse Lee Peterson, like they invite those people into doing things just for political points.
I know, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, and that's wrong.
They make a thing out of it, yeah.
Well, see, but now this type of leadership allows for what happened right there in your guys' backyard in Phoenix at the airport. This happened today. I don't know if you saw it.
So explain for our listeners. No, I did watch it, but explain to our listeners what
Okay,
this
so some 19-year-old kid, big ass black dude, just big as fuck. He just barreled through. I mean, I don't know what happened, but just watching through the video, he was barreling through TSA and just knocking people out. But the people he was knocking out were women. So all of these people that he was knocking out were women. And if you watch the video real carefully, you see a black woman like, F this, I'm getting out of his way. And she ran. It was funny. It was funny to see.
I did watch that. Yeah, I'm gonna play it again, but keep you just
no, but did you see that big fat white lady? She when he knocked out that one chick and then the other guy tried to tackle him and he just went right through him. He didn't knock him out, but he slowed him down. And then when she was barreled down like she was a linebacker, like she was getting her stance ready. He hit her once and poof, she hit the floor. But this is my point. A bunch of Chinos allowed this to happen because, see, a real Christian, like you see at that Baptist minister, he took control. He knew the roles of everybody. And he even put the president in check. And that's hard to do when you're talking about a guy like Obama.
And he's black. He's black.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Come on.
Yeah, of course. We all know this.
Obama would have done. He tried
race war. Would have ignited a race war.
He wanted that race war. Yeah. But that pastor, he knew what he was doing.
See, that's amazing because the guy took control, almost made it a internal affair of no, our local community is going to take care of it. We take care of our own. We don't need anybody else right now because all you do is televise this stuff and then make it all about some white Nazi, right, killing black people. And I think the pastor already knew that that wasn't a way to resolve our differences racially.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm saying. And it's the same thing with this other guy in Texas, right? Who shot down the gunman. Is like, I'd appreciate it if you just didn't bother me about it. I just did my job as an NRA instructor. I leapt to my feet. And literally one of his quotes was, it's not like what happened that day didn't change him. It was everything that he had been taught up until that point in his faith is what made him act the way he did. So that actually it seconds your point perfectly.
Yeah, well, he said that. But not just that. There's a third point. And this is the point that I really want to hit home with everybody. This guy had ethics. So because of his faith, he knew his role. He understood what men can do, what women can do, blah, blah, blah. But now let's look at Arizona, one of those godless places. It's just like San Francisco. Phoenix is shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking of Scottsdale it's still...
so this is like, I don't care if it's Austin, Phoenix, Chicago, all of these cities, they're godless places. But anyway, now let's see and you got to think like this. These Chinos.
Okay, by the way, for the listeners, from now on, when we say Chino, it means Christian in name only. We got to do that so they get
yeah. So they
don't say, because if we say Chinos, right, that's either a type of clothing or Spanish for Chinese. Exactly. We don't want that.
Yeah. So Chino, Christian in name only. So these Chinos are the ones who, especially in Arizona, because they, in theory, there's a lot of Christians, a lot of Baptist churches, a lot of Pentecostal churches, in Arizona. But here's the thing. They allowed a system where women are expected to take on men in that capacity.
But that's not an Arizona exclusive thing. That's everywhere.
Exactly. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a Chino exclusive thing. This whole country is ran by Chinos.
Right.
There are no real Christians. I mean, there are real Christians. Like, I think you're a real Christian. I believe that pastor, wherever he's from, South Carolina, that's a real Christian. There's real Christian people, like my Christian parents.
Yeah.
But there's Christians that are against war. Like, they understand, that's why I want to speak about the Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Gallagher, Mr. Gallagher, and or I'll call him Officer Gallagher, because all of these things tie in together. Because when you have a real Christian man, what happened in that shooting, exactly, that's the perfect result of, you see what Christianity is all about. That's what you see.
Hmm.
This guy could have easily, and I mean easily, been swayed. Just like Jesse Jackson was swayed. Just like Al
Sharpton.
Yeah, they're swayed by whatever it says in Romans, because I don't really know I forgot the exact quote or where it's even from, but you know that Romans doctrine thing that we talked about the carnal mind. That is what Chinos love. They don't even understand how that works. So they get tempted by media, by all that attention.
That's
and
right.
This black pastor, it doesn't even matter his race, but this pastor at that historic black church, he didn't care about any of that. He really didn't. And to this day, people still don't know his name. But people know Obama, people know Steph Curry, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of people don't even know that Steph Curry was the one producing it. But, they were trying to use his name to spread it out.
Sure,
But people still didn't even see the movie. It was only out for 2 days.
Well, but here's the thing, though. I think to echo that a little bit, maybe this is an overstatement or an assumption. I just have a feeling that a lot of people will watch that movie and not walk away with more of the attitude of forgiveness. They would walk away thinking like, oh, well, man, that was horrific what Dylan Roof did, and screw white people. You know what I mean? Because
they get all sad.
Because here's the thing. These people, and I will say this as somebody who watched his mother die. You want to know what happened? The day my mother died, we celebrated. And I mean celebrated. Like, it's not what you would expect. Because we know that it's just a passing on from one life into the next through Jesus, right? But here's the deal. I haven't seen the movie, but from what I can tell with these black Southern Baptists, right, it sounded like they were content. Like, it's just like, no, we forgive them and we'll see our family again. It's all good. Celebrate life. That's just how it works. That is exactly what media portrayal doesn't want. Why? Because when people grieve and everything, people make a thing of it. People make money off of it. They get attention off of it. It's like, oh, this white Nazi is horrible. And then what I'm trying to say is, yes, what he did was horrible, but it takes away from the main point here, which is forgiveness and acting within your role. That's the main thing here. Shining a light on the real aspect of it. You know what Emanuel means? That's a biblical term. It means God with us. That's actually what it means. That's the Hebrew word for God with us.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I looked this up, I thought when you were sending me this, I thought it was some Christmas movie, because you typically hear Emanuel used in Christmas movies because it means God with us, Jesus in a manger, right? Christ's birth. But that's what it means. Emanuel means God with us.
Well, it's interesting to read the comments in the YouTube section. It only has 12.
Yeah.
But it is still interesting.
Well, you can know what people.
But it's like this one guy wrote, as a black man, I wanted to see that movie, but the fact Obama in it, Jesus, a black guy wrote this crap. I'm like, the grammar's just shit. But as a black man, actually, you should read this with the Bill Cosby voice.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
just because, dude, I'm telling you.
I gotta do it because you know what? This is a show and we have free speech, so I'm gonna do it because it's funny. But let me just open it up real quick here, because you were just like, how did I know? Because the grammar is bad. That's racist.
I know
that's racist, up, but it's true. Like, yeah, I know. It's just like, oh, I think I read that comment when I saw it. Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. It's like, well, as a black man, I wanted to see that movie.
Fuck, you're making me laugh.
I know.
Fuck, I'm sick.
I know. I won't make you laugh.
You're making me laugh.
But that's funny. But the fact Obama in it made me lose interest.
Oh my goodness.
That comment is hilarious. The fact Obama in it, I lose interest. Like, he is down with the Christian, especially black people. Did people forgot that he mocked all Christian by dude, the grammar is so bad. Like,
I know. Or call Christian Eastern worshiper. I wish they anyway.
But I shouldn't read it in the Bill Cosby.
Yeah, I know, but that was still funny though, dude.
I know, it's funny.
But
I don't know what God got me doing, but damn.
Oh my throat.
Man, people probably can get triggered in the whatever. People knows, but this is the most politically incorrect show probably. I mean, you talk about Christianity, Judaism, real racism, and progressivism. I mean, people aren't gonna like this, but whatever. I mean, our listeners are like our listeners are relatively high IQ, and I mean, not relatively, they're pretty smart people, so they don't care. But to take it back
let's go back to. Yeah,
Dude,
no,
I'm gonna save that comment. That's funny.
No, but it's that's common. Gee. But anyway, but the point is, see, I honestly know, like, this is a good examples of what Christians can honestly do, what they can do for our society. Now, bad examples are what Chinos do. So this attack at the Arizona airport, and why is that happening? Why are women expected to take down huge ass men? Because these women were fat and out of shape. The ones that were getting knocked out, they were fat and out of shape. Because you could be fat and out of shape and be a man, but you're still a man.
Yeah.
And even though you're fat, doesn't mean you're not strong. The world's strongest men are all fat. They just are. And then,
all that leverage, yeah.
Yeah, no, but come on, even like as a race of people or an ethnic group, come on, I still think Tongans and Samoans, as big and fat as they are, I don't know. It'd be hard to take those people down hand-to-hand combat because they're all incredibly strong. They're all incredibly.
Whenever you say Samoa and Tongan, I immediately think of The Rock.
Yeah. He's half Samoan, half black. Jesus, you know what I mean? It's like, fuck, man. That's God, he's like a monster of a man. Come on, how big is that dude? 6 something?
Yeah, he's 6'5", dude. Probably weighs like 280 pounds.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like, come on, that dude was built to fight. Yeah. But the thing is like this, because the Chinos, they have no ethics. Wait, you are muted.
Oh, no, not anymore. I hit the wrong button for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, what? Anyway, so if you know anything about morals and ethics, Chinos don't have any. Their ethics comes from Romans. They are controlled by the carnal mind.
Right.
Lust, da.
Yeah.
And all of that attention is an example of Romans. See, this is the point.
No, you're right. You're right, because you're not supposed to get all the glory for yourself. You're supposed to give it up to God.
Yeah.
And that you're doing the opposite when you capitalize on stuff like this, like Al Sharpton does.
And that's why, I can't stress enough.
Just because Al Sharpton has reverend in his title doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I mean, no, but it's bad. It's really bad, like what's happening. But let's break this down to what the difference between Christians and Chinos, because this really isn't about left versus like progressive versus conservative, because as we mentioned before, progressive ideology it's based on racism. It's based on a belief that the Aryan race is far superior than any race on the planet. But blacks are at the bottom. Blacks are at the bottom, one end, the natural enemy to the Aryan. Because why? Aryan's at top, blacks are at the bottom. So they're always going to be fighting, whatever. And then everybody else in the middle, they're just there to serve, the Aryans. So, but in this country, we have a problem with Chinos ruling this country with their ethics, with their morals. And and it's just like Romans. It's just they are controlled, and they live in a sphere where God has no control. God has no, I forgot that quote, but something about having no realm. God has no something in that realm of whatever. But that's the thing. These Chinos live there. That's why we see this. In Arizona, what did we see? We saw this kid just barreling through. And it was actually kind of funny when I laughed. I just laughed. I'm thinking, look at this. This dude's just knocking out a bunch of women.
Yeah,
And,
it's almost comedic because he just barrels through the security clearance line and just.
No, but all it does to me is like, this is why women should not be police officers or security guards. Because why? You cannot stop a man. Women, I don't care if it was Ronda Rousey, that kid would have knocked her out. He would have.
That was a big kid.
Yeah, that guy was huge. He was like, man, he looked
He must have been like 6'5" or something.
Yeah, he looked as tall as that stupid metal scanner thingy. Dude. And he dug down and pow and just
all people, if you have big kids, big men like that, all they got to do is like helicopter their arms and you're screwed. Like, I'm serious. Like, even if he doesn't mean to smack you in the face, it's gonna hurt like hell.
Yeah, but that's the point. That guy actually, there was another kind of big guy. He was like 6'2". He tried to tackle him and he slowed him down. And even though that guy wrapped his legs, he still knocked out that fat linebacker chick. And and I'm thinking, but all it did was just show you that we live in a messed up society where we expect women to do the the jobs of men. How about
they
the men?
Wanted it that way. Thank feminism for that. They're the ones that want.
Yeah, but that's the point. Why do all these chinos go for it? Why? Seriously, because I get it. Like, because here's the thing. Yesterday you said something about how you wouldn't want a female president, and I understand that because I get what you're saying, but you never know. Because I honestly believe something like president or, if you're a president or a ruler of a country, there is something special about you where you can get, like in this country, over 300 million people to just go along with you, ruling them. So something like that, you just don't know. Maybe God put this chick in there and for a reason. We just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Margaret Thatcher, then yeah, I understand that. But
no, because seriously, without Margaret Thatcher, God, I mean, who knows where we'd be?
Yeah,
like.
but I mean, I wouldn't be okay with. I mean, who can we like? How many Republican female senators can you think of, really?
No, but that's my point. We don't know. We don't know who she is, but you just never know. Like, not that I'm afraid of God or anything like that, but fuck, you don't know what God has. Like, seriously, like if God is real, and like, because I understand all of these possibilities, alternate universes, all these other things and whatnot. So my mind is always racing like this. But I'm thinking, what if God honestly did show some chick to do something great?
Then so be it. I mean, that's his will.
But what I'm saying is, can you imagine how awesome this person's going to be? Because just like Trump, because here's the thing. Without Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, seriously, who knows? We could be Venezuela right now. We could be eating from garbage cans and like how it was in some countries in Africa where they're killing you for your shoes. We could be like that right now if it wasn't for Reagan and Thatcher. But obviously that didn't happen. But we were headed that way again. With Iran. Remember, I told you, we will not go to war with Iran. Nothing's going to happen. And what happened? Nothing happened. Why? But here's the thing. John Bolton is the man, in theory, calling those types of shots.
Yeah, I saw what he said earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so Bolton started that war with Iraq. And why didn't we go to war with Iran? Because I honestly believe some divine intervention put Trump as president. It's the only way. Nothing is logical. I mean, other than because I honestly made logical sense of why he was going to win, him or Ben Carson, because I was like, people are tired of it. People are going to wake up, and they're waking up, blah 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 blah. But it honestly, I honestly think Ben Carson would have just been ran over by everybody. You know what I mean? Because it's just demeanor.
You also need the charisma that Trump has and the ability to play people like we talked about. Just you have to be able to persuade. Ben Carson doesn't have that. He doesn't have he has the smarts. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not he's soft spoken. He's not Trump.
Forget about the persuasion part. Let's just focus on would he go to war? See now, Ben Carson would listen to John Bolton or people with more experience,
Sure.
and he'd go to war. He
Yeah.
would. See, because I don't think charisma has anything to do with Trump not going to war. He was like, my gut's telling me not to do it. You know what I mean? And just like, because Trump goes with his gut a lot. And a lot of the things that he says doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense to him. And he's guessing right. You know, like he knew. I mean, because like, look, as much experience Trump has around the world, I don't think he has the type of experience without really knowing. Like, I don't think he's really seen war, ravaged lands. At least I don't think so. I'm not sure. But he's been all around the world because why? Because he's a businessman. He knows all of these people on a personal level through business. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but Mueller?
Yeah.
He actually had a business deal with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
No, seriously, it went wrong too.
Yeah.
And they sued each other. Like Mueller tried to sue Donald Trump over a bad business deal a long time ago. But no, James Comey, I mean. One of those two. It was either Comey or Mueller. And that's why Trump has always said, this is not right. No, it was Mueller, because we already have a bad business dealing. He already hates me because of a bad business deal, and now he's going to prosecute me? So, you know what I mean? There was a conflict of interest right there. But anyway, let's not go into that. But my point is this. I honestly believe Trump had to have been picked by God or something, to reset time. Because I think when you look around at stuff, you go, like in The Matrix, when that black cat walked by and then another black cat, and then Neo goes, oh, deja vu.
Yeah.
Something like that, like going on now, like, because in theory, with Obama, with Bush, and then Obama, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like something, we were headed down a wrong path. Like, imagine Iran and North Korea with nuclear weapons and, just arming up. Pakistan now getting...
No, true. If you threw in say a Clinton, right, in the position, it would have been very different, especially with Clinton's dealings with uranium, right, and with Russia. So,
well, no, we sold the Ukraine. Yeah, this is a weird thing about Uranium One. The Ukrainians have control of our thing, and the Russians took over the Ukraine. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, this is such crap. You know what I mean? How is this not, humanly, like, how is this even possible? Like, why is nobody saying anything? It's just like the whole thing with this dossier, with the FISA courts. How is this even humanly possible? Well, guess what? I hired some consultant firm, and that consultant firm hired an attorney, and then that attorney hired some kind of data analyst corporation, and then those guys hired some guy from England, and that guy from England hired some guy from I think it was France or Italy, and then those guys went to the Russians. So we're not guilty of anything. That's what they're going to say. That is their defense. And I'm thinking, how is that not going to get prosecuted? How is that even humanly possible?
Right.
But here comes Trump. And then it goes to what you're saying, with his charisma, with his need for attention. He was the only man probably on the planet that could have gone through what he went through, with all of those people attacking him the way they were attacking him. And it was like he was built for this moment in history.
Yeah.
Because he loves the media attention. He loved it.
And he knows how to play them so well, too.
Well, not just, but he knew he did nothing wrong. And he goes, I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't care. I told everybody to, because I did nothing wrong. So I let them do it. Even though it was wrong and no person should ever go through it, but I didn't care. But I'm thinking like this. I honestly, because like goes back to the Bible, when God set back the day, I think he set back time. Like he allowed all these things to happen, but then he allowed us to relive it again, but under Trump. You know what I mean? Like it's like a biblical story where
you're not wrong. Gene Ho talks about that extensively in his book. One thing I also want to say too is I think Trump postponed globalist plans or interrupted them or is preventing them from happening. That's why nobody.
Or we're getting a chance to no, seriously, like this is our chance, because like in the Bible, the story is like this, the guy first he lost, and then of course they lived in like in a Venezuela. But when God set back the day and look, you put your faith in me, blah, 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 you're going to win. And then life is going to be good, but you got to make sure your people are good people, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Didn't happen. But the guy put faith in God. So now Trump put his faith in God, right?
Yeah.
And now it's up to us to recognize that we are given a second chance to correct our mistakes. But unfortunately, nobody likes Trump. All of the Chinos hate Trump. They all do. All of them. I'm not even too sure how what's that guy from Texas? The Cuban dude.
Ted Cruz?
Yeah, Ted Cruz. I don't know if Ted Cruz and how he feels about Donald Trump, but you know what I mean? Like, I still think Ted Cruz is a Chino. Like, is he a Chino? Yeah, probably. But why is he a Chino? Because he should look at that tape of that big ass dude knocking the fuck out of women. And a real Christian would be like, you know what? We cannot put our women who mother our children in the harm's way of a big ass dude that has knockout power.
Right.
So, and they should do that. And they should take the heat of like, oh, from the feminists and things like that. Because look, I don't care. Women should not be cops. They should not be doing physical jobs. Women should not serve in the military when they're going to do combat duty, unless they're flying drones, but if they have to do hand-to-hand combat, that's not for women. It's not. The Israelis do it because they got no people. They have to do it by necessity, but we don't.
Sure.
We got at least 100 million men in this country. So we never have a need for women to fight hand-to-hand combat. I'm not saying that women shouldn't learn hand-to-hand combat, but in war or serving the streets, because I don't care. No woman, I don't care how well-trained she is, she cannot take down men. She can't, especially if they're on PCP or on drugs or running through the airport, just running for an air. Because he saw it. That dude knocked out at least two girls. And they were hefty women. They weren't little women.
Well, here is also something that I think will add on to your point a little bit about women in combat roles, women in roles like this, where it may dealing with the dangerous physical altercation. We got to make sure that point is clear. Physical altercation with men. Why it's kind of counterproductive now that you've pointed it out, because say you have women working cop jobs, right, or TSA or whatever, where things could go wrong. You may face a physical altercation with a man. Here's the deal that's also plays into it. Women don't expect to be hit by men. They don't. No, I'm serious, because think about it, right? They're trained in our society to think, well, a man would never hit you. I mean, okay, if he's abusive, that's aside, but you just don't hit a woman. That's just the implication here. So when you go into it, right, and you get socked in the face by some crazy dude on drugs, because he's not going to care that you're a woman. He's just trying to get the hell out of his way. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, but if he socks you in the face, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. You're in for a rude awakening because you don't believe. Here's another. You don't believe that men will hit women. But these people that are causing trouble for you, they're not civilized. Don't expect them to treat you with any degree of, well, I'm a woman and you wouldn't hit a woman. Yeah, he would. He would barrel through your head.
Well, see, but this is the point. Because Christians lost their way, they allowed.
Real quick, the last thing is that a perfect example of this is that black guy on the bus who punches that girl too.
Yeah.
It is. And we talked about that before, but it's true. He was completely just doing his thing. And then she hit him, spat on him, and then he gets up and then uppercuts. It's legendary, I got to say.
No, it was funny. No, but see, but I still think it was justified. I don't care.
It was justified. I'm on his side.
Yeah, no, because seriously. But the thing is like this.
I'm going to treat you like a man. See, that's the key word right there.
See, but that's the point. See, now, a real Christian would know that when a woman is a cop, she's going to get hit. She is. So no Christian would ever say, hey, look, I'm going to put you in harm's way purposefully. And well, why put a man as a cop then? Because he's in harm's way. Because he could stop it. That's the whole point. A police officer can stop a bad person.
Yeah.
They can. If they're trained. That's why we train men to do this job. But I don't care how well trained a woman. But see, but that's the thing. Christian men don't know they don't know anything about the Bible. Just like they don't know how to do war. Now, like, how do Christians fight a war? Well, I'm going to talk about that. That's why I want to bring up Gallagher real quick, because I know we're running out of time. It's almost 8. But Gallagher, well, okay, so check this out. Gallagher is a Navy SEAL. He was a trained medic.
Okay.
Before he was a Navy SEAL, he was a medic. And then he became a sniper and blah, 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 past Navy SEAL training. But here's the thing. The people who are Christians, they know this. In theory, they know Romans. When you are a sniper, you are literally killing people and watching it through a scope.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're seeing it magnified. It's not like you shoot like that guy, that one dude that shot between the thing. He didn't see that magnified. I don't even think he killed him. He stopped him, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he killed him. But the guy
him.
that shot him 100 yards away, shot him between the piercing his
armor. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like that dude, he was a Christian. But this other guy, Gallagher, when you're a sniper, I don't care what anybody says, killing the way he was forced to kill, that is not normal. People cannot do that. They just can't. I mean, you can for a bit, but you got to stop.
That's how I feel. That's also how I feel towards people who operate drones, right? Where now it's actually very disconnected, and they just fly drones, and they can literally pick out, an eyelash from like 50 miles away with that kind of technology, lock in on a family, and then just through a screen, just blow them off the face of the earth. That's how drone operators work these days.
Yeah, it's like a video game.
Yeah.
Now, anyway, but the point is this. This guy was accused of murder.
Mm-hmm.
He killed an ISIS fighter. And a lot of people are like, wait a minute. He was an ISIS fighter. What does that even mean? Like he's the enemy. What difference does it make? It makes every difference in the world, because Christians are supposed to go all around the world. And before you colonize with McDonald's and Taco Bell, you got to set the groundwork by being an example as a Christian. My parents, my Christian parents, they were my example. Or now that I'm 50, I'm not killing anybody. I'm not thank God I never did, worse crimes. Because, like that one fight. In one fight, I got 32 counts of attempted murder on 32 different people. Not that I held back, but I actually did hold back. Only that one dude, when I slammed his face on the concrete barrier, that was the only guy that I could honestly say was seriously hurt. Everybody else, not so much. But here's the thing. Christians are the ones that set examples for guys like me. They are. They're the ones. If it wasn't for Christian people, I can guarantee you, we would be in a world of trouble. And we would be in a world of trouble, because people have no idea what it's like to be inside a crazy person's head who's a real sociopath. And I hate to say that I'm a sociopath, but I'm talking about my other friends. that grew up with me, they're real sociopaths. And man, and their strength is like 5 times more than mine. Like this one dude, when he got out of prison, Jesus, and I was afraid of him, but he never knew I was afraid of him because that was the only way I could keep him in check. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I'll break your fucking legs. And if it doesn't work, then at least I know I slowed you down for a bit and I'll get the fuck away because you can't catch me. And but that dude, he broke a oak table, solid oak, like a big old school oak table. He was pissed, slammed his fist down, that shit broke in half. Just like, man, I'm thinking, but I think it did it too to intimidate us. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. But my point is this: you got a guy like Gallagher. He's a strong dude, trained, smart as hell, but he's killing people. So there was this 12-year-old kid, he was caught. Now he's a prisoner of war because, they caught him. And plus most kids when they're that age, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So it's easy to capture a 12-year-old, because they don't know. You know what I mean? I don't even think these kids want to die. But the point is this: they ended up killing him.
Damn.
One of the dudes, they were fixing him up because they're medics. So they were treating him, healing him up. And then one of the SEALs just ended up stabbing him to death. Just stabbed him to death. But the thing is like this. I agree that Trump was right with putting him into, like, he moved him. He moved him from like a maximum place, like to a less restrictive thing. Because look, because people got to realize when you see that type of violence, you really can't be held responsible for your actions. You can't. That's when the Christians really need to be there, because it takes a Christian, like with that shooting in Emanuel. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know what it's called, but like that movie shooting.
Yeah, it's called Emanuel. Yeah.
So that is when that's when you need Christians. The real Christians need to be there for the people who do those types of things, because it makes no sense. I've always rationalized my violence through science, and it just justifies you being more violent.
Right.
And you cannot.
Case in point right there.
Yeah, no. So this dude, he was a medic. The dude's not dumb. He killed a 12-year-old kid. Killed him. Why? Because he needed a Christian. He did. He needed to talk to some Christian people to speak to him about, Romans, and how it works and how you need, I don't know, because I'm not a Christian. But you know what I mean? Like, God, I wish I could remember all the stuff that my coach used to tell me. But, mm-hmm. Without, that's my handicap, is I'm not a Christian. But if people who were honestly Christian, like that Baptist pastor, if he was the dude in there, and doing the speaking to these guys, I bet you money they'd be different. They'd still be angry, still be doing this and that. But instead of stabbing him, you know what they would have done instead? Put a little hose up his nose and just turn it on full blast. Just freak him out a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean? But not stab him to death. You know what I mean? Just to hey man, wake up, or just to freak him out. But then here's the thing, and here's why you don't kill prisoners of war. Mm-hmm. Because when they get out, they're going to be your examples when they get back into society. And then they can say, hey, you know what? These dudes are actually pretty cool with me. They gave me this, they gave me that, they showed me this, they showed me that. And it's because that's how they believe. They, how we're taught up, because, Muslims do believe in Jesus, right? But they don't think Jesus.
They don't believe he's the son of God. They just believe he's a teacher, just one of many prophets.
Yeah, but they don't even believe in the shit that Jesus talks about.
Yeah.
The stuff about, divorce and the money changers. They don't believe in that. That's why, I showed you that video, because I'm telling you now, they're fanatics. It's like going to the Middle East is not like going to some, Muslim temple here. These dudes are fanatics. And it's not, yeah, man, it ain't cool. So people, it's like the ghetto, seriously, but they're all Muslims. Mm-hmm. So the mentality you have in the ghetto is the same mentality you have in the Middle East. So when that boy is dead, right, he's dead. So now you got all these ghetto ass people in the Middle East going, this is why death to America, and all this other crazy stuff that you always hear that crap, death to America. Why?
Yeah.
Because America is seen around the world as the only true Christian nation.
Right.
And in theory, the Muslims always say, like, hey, it's the Christians, the American Christians that are, that's the devil. They're making you poor. They're doing all of these things. But here's the thing. We had a perfect opportunity. Well, not we, but, the military, the U.S., had a perfect opportunity to brainwash this kid into Christianity. I don't want to say I was brainwashed, but I think I was brainwashed as a kid, like subliminal, like I saw it. You know what I mean? Through examples.
But does it make sense though?
Of course it makes sense.
Yeah, so
that's the whole, it only makes sense with if you don't have Christianity, none of it makes sense other than we are animals and this is how animals act.
Right.
But then at some point you're like, I can't be an animal because I see animals.
And this is how to live.
No, but come on, think about this. They want you to believe you're no different than a monkey.
That's
seriously, that's what progressives believe. We evolved from some kind, like we're just a little bit better than an elephant or a dolphin or a monkey. So we're all the same. That's why we do what we do. So it's up to us. And feminism, we're all equal, blah, 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 blah. No. I agree with them that we're above animals, but not because of science or biology, although it proves it, but we are made differently. We had to, like, the only way it makes sense is through Christianity, because not even through the Jewish Bible does it make sense. Because if you believe it like the way the Jews believe it, well, then shit, you might as well be an anarchist or an atheist or a Muslim or a Buddhist. You might as well. There is no difference from those guys' religion. It's all the same. And it just doesn't make any sense. What's that called? Only the strong survive in the Jewish faith. You got to be the strongest. This is how it works. That's what makes Christianity unique. It's not about being the strongest. It's not only the strong survives because that's how we evolve. It's not like that in the Christian faith. It's like, you know what? Even if you're the crazy dude, we'll still take care of you. There's hope. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, Christians give you hope that things will always get better. And that is something you could have taught those Muslim kids down, wherever they were at, where that killing happened and things like that. So, but one of the other SEALs admitted to the murder. And, Gallagher did something and blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, if we had real Christian leaders, that never would have happened. Never. And they would have known how to change a society. You change a society not by respecting their religion, because right now you cannot, quote unquote, indoctrinate a Muslim. You got to respect their faith. You got to give them prayers and shit like that. But in the old days, what we used to do? We used to try to convert them into Christianity.
Yeah.
You do that in the old days. Hey, look, the way you believe is wrong. And you want to know why they're open to it? Because their ass is locked up in a cage. If their God is so strong, if Allah is so strong or whatever, or Muhammad, why in the hell are they losing? And it's just how it was in the Bible. That's why God said something about, he wants to be the only one, even though there's other ones, but he's the strongest and all the other gods are fake. So long story short, we're supposed to do that to our enemies. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because in theory, I used to be my coach's enemy. And he never shunned me away because in theory, I almost said his name, but the Samoans were right for fearing me. They were right for that. But our coach turned me eventually into an ally or a friend. And that's how you're supposed to do it in war. I don't care what kind of war it is, because whether it's a war in the streets or a war in a distant land in Afghanistan or wherever, it doesn't matter where that war is. It's still the same. You are a Christian person. You are ruled by, I don't know by who, but I don't know if it's Jesus or God, but whoever rules Christians, that's your role, and you're supposed to live by those rules.
Yeah.
Just because some dude is telling you to kill and do this and that, you do it, but you always have to do it under that Christian lens.
Exactly. And that's why, just to wrap it up here, because we do have to wrap it up, I have to take a call. With this guy, this Baptist preacher in Emanuel, guess what he would have done if he were a man? He would have given in, allowed for the publicity and everything, but he was serving God first, and he handled it. Yeah.
No, they did, and they made a movie about him. But granted, it was only in the movie theaters for 2 days, but
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure. No, definitely. I do have to run though, Professor Dreg, but appreciate you chiming in on this, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed what we had to say. Definitely something to reflect on. Chinos. We're going to start saying that in the show.
Yeah. Fuck the Chinos.
No,
yeah. Chinos.
Yeah, definitely have a wonderful rest of your weekend, you guys, and we'll see you guys soon.